I'd say something like the PL is actually one of the worst heroes for Raid King to lane up against. Maybe not lane up against, but down the line, Raid King doesn't deal with illusions well. Mana burn on something like the PL or even a Naga can cause issues for the Raid King before he can get the Ag Shard. So something like that might be something Infinity looks at to ban out. But it looks like, yeah, they take the PL out at least to give the Raid King an easier time ramping up. And they do take a Beastmaster here as well. So there's a lot of push coming out here for Infinity. Raid King Skeletons coming out, the Boar summons from Beastmaster, the Necronomicon coming out sooner rather than later now with the Beastmaster as well. And Unknown Team, I mean, a Kotl and Earth Spirit are good, and the Kotl can still sort of de-push a lane with the Illuminate coming out, but they don't necessarily have the best way of saving anyone that gets roared up. These supports don't have like a saving spell to buy you time, except maybe Blinding Light. So Infinity Esports should still be playing around this timing where their Beastmaster and Lion hit 6, and that's when the gank train starts rolling. You finger someone up, you roar them down. They are not going to live through that kind of burst damage and control.
No, they definitely aren't. Definitely a very nice pick here from Infinity, and if you do get those good team fights going naturally now with the Beastmaster Wraith King, you're going to push down objectives very, very quick. It's already looking very dangerous here for Unknown Team, but let's see where they go with their next picks. I mean, luckily they already have the Keeper of the Light, so they've got a lot of D push there set up in that Keeper. You might want a little bit more though. They've
Yeah.
got 3 core choices to make Unknown, so time to reveal your hand a little bit.
The Underlord would have been really nice for Unknown Team, but they banned it out themselves. Tidehunter's also out of the pool here if they're looking for offlaners to sort of get some D-push. Maybe you can look at something like a Legion Commander, but they open up with a PA first. So it's PA into Raid King. This is a back and forth one. Raid King, not necessarily the kind of hero that wants to rush something like an MKB, so your PA is going to have a lot of durability. However, on the other hand, Infinity Esports already have some burst damage to deal with a PA. The line alone with Finger is already a nice way to set up. Now you have this Morana as well. So you've got Hex into Arrow, you've got Earth Spike into Arrow, Roar plus Arrow as well. All the magic damage from the line, the Beastmaster and the Morana. The PA is not going to be the strongest here up front, despite having that evasion, because frankly, there's a lot of magic damage on Infinity.
No, there certainly is. Unknown Team. 4th pickup now. They see the Morana. A lot of team fight, a lot of pick-off potential here with Infinity Esports, and Unknown are going to go for a Venomancer pick. That's rather interesting, John. I think the Veno is going to do pretty well up against the Wraith King in the off lane, but I worry about its impact after that. I mean, you can get a lot of vision with the Veno wards. It can be very annoying as a hero overall, but is it going to do enough to stop this huge push that's coming in from Infinity Esports? I'm not sure about this. It feels a bit lackluster.
It has fallen flat quite a few times, that Venom. It's still fairly popular to have in the offlane, and should still be disruptive enough to something like the Wraith King. The key thing for Unknown here is they've got to play around that Venomancer spike. You hit level 5, level 6, make that rotation onto the offlane, get a shove out with those wards, try to, get those support levels up as well. You want to line that up with a Venomancer as close as possible to play around that power spike. So Unknown Team have to play pretty fast here to buy space out for the PA. Should still be a standard Battle Fury build as well for a PA, Battle Fury into Deso. Although BKB would be nice, but you always worry about the Roar, so it might not be the most value rush item for that PA as well. Well, we'll see how Unknown do develop. They do speed through the bans, DP and Void Spirit taken out, along with the Storm Spirit and Puck. So all sides looking at the mid ban outs here. And there are still a couple of options you can look for on Unknown Team. The Void Spirit not being there does make it a little bit less likely, but the OD would have been nice. They go with the Ember instead, so that's another way to D-push here on Unknown. You've got the Sleight of Fist spam. You could go for the Maelstrom buildup as well if it's fast enough, and that does take out a lot of the potency Infinity might want to bring out with a shove down lane.
Unknown definitely should be the favorites here, right? I mean, you kind of already brought this up, but they are an upper division team where Infinity just made it to the upper division. Infinity, they'll finish off with the Mars, and I still stick by the point I made where their draft just looks a lot stronger. Unknown Team, it's not like they're bad. They have plenty of pick-up potential themselves, but It just feels like with this draft from Infinity, if they manage to get a good start going, it's going to be very, very hard to slow them down. And overall, I'd say the draft from Infinity would probably be a bit ahead right now, just before the game even starts.
Oh, definitely. They've got pretty good timings to play around. The Raid King, Reincarnation is not the most important spell to pick up. In fact, a lot of Raid Kings do tend to just pocket that skill point. You can play around the timing for Mars with Arena. You've got this Arena, the Spear plus Arrow combination coming out on top of the combinations you get from the Lion. So it's really solid in terms of just running around, finding those pickoffs. Whereas for Unknown Team, yeah, they've got this Ember Spirit mid from Robo Z. You've got the Earth Spirit who can maybe get an early rotation out as well, and maybe apply that harassment out to the mid because you don't have the most mobile heroes to worry about here on Infinity besides the Mirana, but that is a support. So it's easier to catch out these cores with the Earth Spirit. It can be really potent early on, but they have to maximize the value from the Earth Spirit and the Veno. Like, again, those two timings are so key. Like, getting the Magnetize up along with the Poison Nova is going to be key in winning these team fights. And for Infinity, it's much more easy to spread out that EXP. You've got the selfless supports, at least in the form of that line, so they can play around those spikes a lot easier. And for Unknown, well, they've got to really get these lanes running. That's where their lineup shines best. They've got to maximize their lanes and try to shut out Infinity before they can get that deep push in.
All right. We do get into a game number one. Of course, we are going to start off with the pause straight off the bat. Pretty standard stuff. Did we have any specific server allocations between these two teams, or are we just on the US East server? Do you know?
I know this one's on Peru for both games, as both teams are probably best connected to Peru. I don't think we have too many Brazilian players in this one, if not any at all. So it shouldn't be a connection issue, but of course, that doesn't help if the Lions are not doing well, and Pamplona saying guapos. Very nice, thank you. We're all guapo.
What does that mean, John?
That means we're handsome. That means well, he's calling them handsome, but I will accept it as well. At least that's what it means in Filipino,
I'm pretty sure he's talking about me then, John. Don't get your hopes up.
Of course. I have to say, I took a glimpse of the stream, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about with the hair. It looks really nice. I don't know. Something about the waviness actually looks really nice on you.
Yeah,
Like,
but
my
it's
hair's
not
boring.
perfect, John. I didn't get to comb it today.
Yeah, that's fair. But you still have a wonderful beard. That doesn't need too much setup, eh?
I mean, it's very rough right now. I'm not going to lie, John. I'm going to get a haircut very soon, actually. Believe it or not, I finally got in contact with my barber. So,
Oh,
yes, it's been a while, but maybe in a couple days when we've got a break, might go down, actually get a haircut, and look even more beautiful, John.
absolutely. And you were talking about the beard being a bit rough. I want to point out again, Infinity is sponsored by Gillette. So there you go. The best a man can get. Whoa!
I didn't even pick up on that one myself, John. Thank you for that. Very, very good segue, sir.
Of course, I try.
Unfortunately, the stream isn't sponsored by them, but we'll give them a shout out because Infinity is still.
Yeah, and it's always wonderful to see smaller teams have that solid sponsorship. But it should lead to some excitement here, as there is a bit of a clump up, and this is where it's scary to fight into Infinity. You're running into a Lion with Earth Spike, you run into Mirana with Arrow, and a Wraith King who can get stunned. That's a lot of control to walk into.
Oh, Sacred just turns right back around, but he's going to get stunned up into an Arrow here from Infinity, and this is what I was a little bit worried about, but Sexy Yogi also dropping low, and he's the one that's going to die. Arms now going to be turned on as well, and Arms is gone. Oh, and they got very unlucky there, John. They ran straight into 5 heroes. They thought it was only going to be a couple. Now even Pamplona's in danger. Hippie doesn't know what to do to help him out. They're going to turn back around onto Wiz, and he is going to get hit by the arrows. So they are going to turn right back around and get a kill. But now the Illuminate is going to snipe out Pamplona. They do get a 3-for-1 trade before the game is even started.
Oh, sweet Jesus. This reminds me of that one game with Neon where Skem ends up with 4 kills. This time SHCC has a wonderful time on the Kotl. 2 kills for him off the board. They get to secure their bounty runes as well, so they're going to get 2 for 2. And Unknown, that sets them up. This is what they needed. We've been ranting about this, but their draft needs to win early on. They get some value already with that early presence. A bit aggressive from Infinity. Like, they do have a lot of stuns, but they underestimate the damage from the Keeper of the Light. They jump the Veno first, don't find a kill, and when you get Max Illuminate off, that's so much damage flying in. We'll see how the rest of the lanes break out here for Infinity. Bot lane, of course, you have Arms around with Wraith King, Sexy Yogi on that line. They are laning up against Widge on the Earth Spirit, and the Venomancer played by Sacred. So you're going to be receiving a lot of harassment on the Wraith King early on. Fortunately, the early levels in the Gale isn't too much damage for something like the Wraith King, but as the levels pile on, it's going to be harder to stand there, especially with the threat of the Earth Spirit rolling in.
That is very true. Sacred would probably love to get Poison Sting right now to be even more annoying, but be stuck with Gale as you see Sexy Yogi, but he's just trying to protect that large camp pull that he did make. And he's going to be able to do so quite easily. We're even going for a creep pull over to their tier 1 tower, so just making sure the equilibrium sits their way. So far, Infinity can't do too much about it. Still in the mid lane, you've got Robo Z up against Pippi on the Mars. So far, it is favoring Pippi. Robo Z he's actually even in terms of CS, but it's a pretty even matchup. I mean, neither one's really going to beat each other out, I don't think. Should be just an even trading lane. Maybe Pippi catches out Robo Z with a nice spear later on, but you know, even then, it's probably likely that Robo Z will find a way out.
Yeah, it's an Ember. It's hard to lock in, even if you get that early level in Spear. You're still going to find that stable farm for PP. And the rune control is much more important for Robozy. He's got his early bottle up. He's going to need to just try to get the supports to come in, which is where those supports of Unknown do shine. We'll see if the Earth Spirit or the Kotl can make their way down mid as we approach that 4-minute mark. Of course, the last lane is that top lane here with Little Boy and the Beast, Pamplona on that Mirana. They are laning up against the PA, played by Berna, and that Kotl by SHCCD. So already a smooth start for the PA, not as much that you can expect from Little Boy. He does have the levels up in the Boar along with the Inner Beast, but this is the one thing when you pick Beastmaster and Kotl, you've got to be careful with the spacing of those summons, as the Keeper of the Light can stand back and just spam Illuminate on the wave to secure that last hit on the Boars, and even the PA can sit back and play with Stifling Daggers, so you have to be a bit more cautious there. Pamplona is getting a lot of value from arrowing the creeps, though, and getting some EXP on the Mirana. In fact, getting a lot more EXP than Little Boy is so far, so that is a plus here for Infinity, as once you get some more levels up on the Beastmaster, having a leveled up Mirana makes it easier to find some angles.
Oh, mid lane, Robo Z does end up eventually going down here to Pippi. It's like Pippi had committed everything for that kill, but he does get the Ember. There you go, first blood or not rather first blood, but a kill in the mid lane, and that was the first kill after the minute mark. After those boundaries did spawn, but bot lane, Sacred even getting quite low here on the Veno. The lanes are very strong from Infinity, right? Like, you've got so many stuns. If you get caught out once, you are going to lose a hell of a lot of HP.
Yeah, and that is always the thing to watch out for. And I love seeing this from PP as well. RoboZ comes back in and he just drops, has to pop a salve, has to waste some bottle charges. So they need to secure these runes, but Pamplona's already here up top. They are dragging down Wish though. So it should be at 50-50 now, whether or not it spots. And it's unlucky for our Ember. RoboZ not going to find that up top.
No, he is not. And to make matters worse, Pamplona actually held the Arcana in there. A lot of teams will just go ahead and take it, but Pippi maybe asking to hold it. That's going to be a pretty big bonus now. As for Mars with an Arcane, I mean, he already struggles with mana issues, but with that Arcane rune, he should be able to fit all his spells in, especially once he hits that level 6 mark, which he does now. RoboZ is going to have to be very, very cautious as he is still level 4. So Pippi might actually get him one more time before he even hits 6.
Yeah, and this is a scary point for RoboZ. We haven't seen the early rotations out from, say, the Earth Spirit to even out this lane, and we needed to see that activity out from Unknown, especially in mid. The Ember sets your tempo here, much more so than the Venomancer is. So they may be securing Sacred's lane, but it is coming at the cost of RoboZ not getting any support, and that could cost them down the line.
Could be. You are going to be relying on this Ember for a lot of the D push. So you need him to have a good game. See if Pippi wants to make a rotation early on. He's got the arena up and he does fill up his bottle again with the bounty, but looks like he's pretty happy just sticking in the lane and making sure this Ember does not have a free game.
Yeah, it's just low going for Robozy. Of course, not having PP go around means that at the very least, Burna's not under threat on that PA up top. They're still finding that steady farm on both of these safe lane cores, although it is starting to look better for our Raid King. Like, Arms might be lower in levels, but he's finding last hits. It's a Raid King, it farms in jungle a little bit faster because of those skeleton summons, so it's always going to have an edge if you're having even farm between these two cores.
I mean, it is, and Sacred really can't do much on the Veno, which is going to be a big problem. I mean, you chose the Veno for this reason, to be able to dominate the lane up against the Wraith King, but that is not what is happening right now, and in fact, as he's left the lane, they might even find this Earth Spirit, which is going to go down. A nice setup there by Sexy Yogi, and Arms will happily harvest some bones for himself.
And this is where it gets a bit silly. Like, the presence of our Venomancer is just not quite there for Sacred. He did go for the max Poison Sting build, but they just aren't able to set up, and this is a slower start as well for Widge. Again, he's been stuck bot lane. He hasn't been able to rotate mid. They are dragging SHCC now, though, so they might go with Tree.
Gonna try. Roll in is gonna be there. Arms probably gonna cop and illuminate, but oh, it misses. He's going to turn right back around on Sacred, who has to back off. Arms is still in danger, but still trying to run. Wish is going to chase him down with a roll, but no, it's
nice
blocked
block
off. Sexy Yogi making sure he blocks that roll. They can't chase down the Wraith King any further. They're still trying with the Coddle. Illuminate going to fly through, but Pamplona is there now with the Starfall onto Sacred, but it's not going to be quite enough damage, and he's out of leap charges, but he throws out an arrow, but he is still going to die. Unknown able to get a double kill onto Wish. And unfortunately for them, they still haven't killed off Arms, but you've still got to be pretty satisfied with that if you are Unknown.
And that just allows him to get a little bit more EXP flowing to the Veno. SHCC as well hits his level 5 from that, so he's got max level Chakra. Going for this Chakra build, though, means that your Illuminate doesn't do too much damage, although here comes PP.
Yeah, PP. Arena's not up. He hasn't even got the mana for a Spear or God's Rebuke, but he's trying to find out where this Earth Spirit is. Wish is going to be fine, so maybe they can find the Coddle. Or maybe not. He's going to TP right out in front of them, and Pippi could not see him in time. Unknown. As bad as this bot lane went at the start of the game, it seems like they have kind of brought it back a little bit.
Yeah, they force some rotations out, although...
Yeah, Robo-Z. Oh, nice.
Ooh, PP.
Nice spear. Is it going to matter? Not quite. Robo-Z still able to get the kill anyway. Definitely a very nice spear, though. But it looks like Unknown have gotten warmed up and... well, they're ready to play their game.
Yeah, they're about to hit those big power spikes. Level 6 already up in Sacred. He doesn't go for the Nova, but that does mean his wards and his Poison Sting are starting to hit that much harder. They have bot space out here for the PA as well. Little Boy is just laning alone against the PA, and there's not much the Beastmaster can really do to stop the PA from just constantly dagger farming now. So you're still seeing the steady build-up towards that Battle Fury, and looks like the supports now are just ready to run around. Widget level 5, SHCC as well. They could just apply that pressure across the map. That does force Pamplona back up top. So at the least, Little Boy's not going to be scared of being jumped on. And now you have to worry about Burna. If he shows up in lane, you do have Roar ready to find a pickoff.
He's going to find one here. Coddle getting caught out by the Roar, and the arrow is there to follow up just in case. In fact, Pamplona will take the kill on the Mirana. I feel like the Coddle didn't avoid that arrow just purely to make sure the Mirana got the kill instead. But regardless, they get the kill, and with that, they can go after this top tier 1 tower.
And we've got the Necronomicon level 1 here. They force the Fortify out. You're still coming in for the defense, though.
They roll in onto Little Boy. Silence there with the Boulder Smash, but a nice arrow onto the Ember. Still Burner going to move in onto the Beastmaster, and Little Boy has accepted his death, but he might bring Wish with him. And he does. Now the arena is down by Pippi, trying to go on to the Veno. Poison Nova still going to make it out in time. Arms in danger, and Burner is going to be able to get him at least once. Can they find him a second time? Dagger is there. They're going to try with a great chains out from Robo-Z, but the damage output is probably not going to be there. The Moonlight Shadow was out anyway, as they turn back around now onto Burner. But they aren't going to commit. In fact, Arms needs to be careful. Burner can do a lot of damage, especially if he gets lucky with these crits. RoboZ's going to come back now, and Arms, that was a very risky play. He is going to pay for it. They're not done either. Little boy. Slowed up, does get the coddle. RoboZ now is the one in trouble as he gets speared up. He does have a remnant, but he's not going to make it in time. And it turns right back around the wave infinity.
This is such a back and forth game. They've got an Invis rune on Widge, but they've got a lot of sentries here from both sides. They should be aware of some movements out. You have Finger up in Sexy Yogi though.
Uh-oh. You do have Finger, but he's not going to be able to use it. He does go down. On the brighter side, he did buy a bit of space there for that tier 1 tower to be focused down by Infinity. Unknown. They need more time to farm, right? Like, you've got this PA, you need to get the Battle Fury up, you need to get a Deso and a BKB. So Burner needs to just try and relax and get some farm up, but the rest of the team, they're on defense duty, John. They're up against this very kind of push-heavy lineup. They need to always be ready to make sure they're just defending these towers.
They're ready to play with a smoke as well.
Roll in. Onto Arms. Illuminate gonna fly through. Still no reincarnation. And he is gonna die again. Sexy Yogi now gonna be chased down. Gets hit by the Magnetize and the Sleight of Fist from RoboZ. Arms just without that reincarnation life needs to be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, it goes for the Raid King as well. He's trying to rush this Radiance. Does have a good amount of gold in the bank. And is still leading in terms of last hits, but the farm is slightly ahead now for Burna. So maybe time for the Raid King to take a step back until Reincarnation's back up. There is an opportunity to fight again. They've got Roar back up, but at this point, Unknown to have too many heroes down mid.
They really want those Beastmaster units, and they get them too. I suppose you're going to have to be careful with those units. I mean, you don't really want to feed free gold away like that. Little boy, maybe not expecting to actually focus them down. They definitely make it happen. Looks like Infinity are going to be happy to just sit back as well and try to get Arms that Radiance. His timing is going to be a little bit later now, considering he did die 2 times in a row.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Do have a Moonlight Shadow up now. Little boy going to go through the Diet Jungle. Not going to find anyone, however. Just straight back to farming.
Yeah, it's he plants a ward as well that's under his sentry, so he doesn't get too much value. It at least scouts out that the triangle is occupied. But the one thing for Infinity right now is that they're not quite able to play around his burst potential we talked about. The Finger hasn't been popped yet. They do smoke up once more. Maybe they can find something this time around, but it's been a tough game for Sexy Yogi since he hit 6.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't found any Finger kills. Not going to see RoboZ down at that bot lane. Now they are. He shows them the creep wave. You haven't really got a blink though, so you can't guarantee the stun here onto RoboZ unless you can get this line close enough, and Sexy Yogi is getting pretty close, but the smoke has broken. And RoboZ, he's going to spot them out. Stun is not going to land. He can still try for the heads, but the chains are going to be there, and now a roll in from Wish. They knew this was happening. They get a kill instead. And Unknown right now are just purely outplaying the side of Infinity.
Yeah, they're reading the movements out of Infinity like a book. They smoke up now as well from bot. That wasn't under any ward. They can try to wrap around mid for the defense.
Into the mid lane they go. The boy gonna try, but he has been jumped on once again. RoboZ with the chains out, and now the slow into the roll by Wish. Oh, little boy. He just can't sustain that much damage output. Unknown just so willing to fight with this raft. They are right back into that mid tier 1 tower.
Just playing around her pyro spikes really well. Nice little smoke dodge as well from SHCC. Like, you saw the Beastmaster creep still going at him with no heroes around, pops the smoke, gets out free. And Infinity, they're just not running it well, although PP
Yeah, arrow connects as well. Pippi trying to get the damage out onto Wish, but can they do it? Wish, he's alive. Poison Nova comes out and they do finger him down. Sexy Yogi should be going down as well on that Lion. The Moonlight Shadow is going to buy him some time, however, and now Arms is going to come in onto Sacred. Sacred on the Veno is really not that tanky, so he will die. And this time around, Infinity are the ones that actually get the 2-0. However, they still lose that T1 tower, and Pippi is going to keep going onto Robo Z. Sexy Yogi, very low on HP, can't follow up. Unknown, they will back out.
Yeah, it's a good set of kills for them. They find the objective they want, so they even out map control just a tad bit. They're buying so much space out here for Burna. It's just playing in the triangle, has the battle here, and they're still keeping that aggression up.
Uh-oh. There goes Yokotl. He just kind of ran right in. Trying to get a recall off, but it's taking way too long of a duration. All this time does mean Burna has been farming on this PA, so his farm is escalating quite nicely. He is even ahead of Arms on that Wraith King, regardless of skeletons or not. And this is kind of a concern, because as the Wraith King, you do want to have the net worth advantage in terms of carries, but it looks like Burna is going to be the one that actually gets the higher net worth throughout this game.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to keep that PA in check. And Arms, he's showing himself in the map very far forward. There is a tier 1 to TP to, but he's all alone.
Yeah, Robo's already got him with the chains out. Skeletons are there, but they're just melting to the Flame Guard damage and Arms. He's going to lose 1 life. His team is coming in to try and help out. Sacred is there as well, along with the Coddle, and they roll right in, but the arena has been dropped. They're going to try and focus down the Veno. Illuminate going to fly through, but Sacred is going to die, and so will Wiz, but Burna going to jump in, but there's your roar out now. They've got Robo Z, but he is going to be able to secure the kill on the Wraith King, and he wants to go right back in. Pippi will be slowed up by the dagger. Earth Spike doesn't connect, nor does the arrow. Crit is going to take down Sexy Yogi, and now Pippi as well. He's going to die to the PA. Pamplona trying to run with Little Boy, but they're both going down. And it's going to be a full team wipe.
Man, Infinity, it felt a bit slow on the response, on the jump on the Wraith King. The TP is just not coming out the instant he was being jumped on. They have this TP point. They couldn't maximize it, so the response was a bit too slow. They don't even find anything. And Unknown are playing so well around their power spike. The Venomancer still does a lot of work because there's no early pipe here. There's no early BKB. The constant DOT is just so strong. Then you also have this Coddle Ember, of course, just spamming out the Sleight of Fist. And when you've got the Maelstrom, that means a lot of Maelstrom procs just bouncing around and absolutely ruining these high HP heroes with no magical shield, magical resistance at all.
Certainly so. Infinity, I mean, they keep wanting to fight, but I understand they're trying to defend Arms there, but Arms is going to be much more careful about where he farms. This Radiance timing, it's there now, but it's definitely not the time he would have liked it to be at, and Burna doesn't really seem to mind too much. He does show himself for a second. Probably saw the Radiance and thought, I better not jump in. Not until he has that BKB anyway. Meanwhile, Robo Z has been caught out on the Ember. The Moonlight Shadow, they set up another kill, and that's going to be a very important one.
Yeah, it's the big one to take out. Not quite the biggest hero to take, but it allows them to go into the rush. Without the Ember, it's not as easy to fight into that pit. There are still a lot of heroes around, though, and they could just easily scout out, so still have to be cautious, but the rush does melt fast.
Yeah, Infinity certainly taking it out very quick. However, they are making their way in. Illuminate going to go through, but it's way too late. The Roshan already down. Still, they'll start the fight. Poison Nova, but the finger right out from Sexy Yogi. It's going to burst down Sacred, but he'll die to Burna. Now Pamplona being denied off on the Mirana. Burna is right back onto the Wraith King. They'll buy back on the Lion, but it might be too late. He's died once. Burna right back onto the Wraith King, gets another crit, and we'll get the Aegis down as well. One more life will do it. And they get it so easily.
The damage output from Burna is just too much. You don't have anything for durability. There's no BKBs here. There's no Hood of Defiance, no pipes, no mech to even just heal you up. And that's costing them. This fast Battle Fury Desolator on Burna, just ripping through every single one. Even the Wraith King doesn't look tanky with a Radiance. Like, yeah, the Radiance gives you some durability with some pseudo evasion. It's not enough to really counteract the PA. So Infinity, they had a pretty good start, like in the first 10 minutes, despite those first bloods being given away. But now they need to pull back and try to farm up. They're 7k behind. There is a huge lead here in Burna, and even Robo-Z isn't too far behind. BKBs are going to be coming out soon from Unknown. And once you have those BKBs, a little boy needs to be a lot more on point with who he roars and how they combine off of it, because it feels like Infinity have been throwing out their spells in reaction to what Unknown's doing, but they're not able to really combine in a smooth way. They roar up, they get jumped in the back line, and suddenly the game plan is ruined.
Very tough scenario. I mean, in terms of this draft for Infinity, it already looks like they've kind of fallen too far behind now with a 7k net worth lead on Unknown. Wish just going to roll straight in to the Radiant jungle, into the tree line. He knows Little Boy's there somewhere. He finds the Necro units, but Burner, oh, Little Boy's going to show himself. He thought he was alone. Pippi going to come in with an arena onto the PA with a follow-up arrow. That might do it, and it looks like they will get him. They'll get the PA, but can they deal with Robo-Z and the gang? It doesn't look like it. Pippi now still in trouble with the chains out, and he is going to go down. A triple kill out for Robo-Z. He's even going to take the Necro units as well.
I mean, they trade away the PA, so Infinity's still somewhat happy about that, but they lose 2 cores and a support for the PA. It's a very costly trade. It's so hard to fight into this Ember Spirit as long as the Cottle's around. And you see the effect again. They get the roar off, the response is just very scattered, and they have to throw everything they have just to find that one kill. I think right now Infinity needs to deal with this Cottle. They need to stop SHCC from just giving free chakras out onto the Ember. It's so much value when you've got the Maelstrom build. You just get all of those bounces out, and the Sleight of Fist is so spammable. Infinity needs to find a way to jump in the back, but they don't have the best jump. It's down to the fact that the blink is stalled out from Little Boy. You don't have a blink in your line coming out anytime soon as well. So you just don't have that innate mobility to pick off the backline before the fight can really break out.
No, I mean, they don't. Blink Dagger now up on Little Boy, so a bit more initiation here for Infinity. It's going to be a little bit demotivating though, like you kill off Burner at the start of a team fight and you just can't win anyway. Robo-Z just appears to be a bit too strong on the Ember. They do smoke up into the mid lane, and Little Boy is going to be caught, it looks like. Sleight of Fist will be able to find him. Chains as well onto the Beastmaster. And of course, he's not going to try and commit the roar for that. He'll just accept the fact that he is going to die. And Unknown will continue dominating this map.
Yeah, they got control everywhere now. They can look for the push down bot, which already setting up the creep wave. And with a Venomancer, it's not as fast as a Beastmaster, but you can still get the job done, especially with the Desolator and Burna. Towers will still melt. Not much of an opportunity for Infinity to try and trade. They're keeping that top lane shoved in, and they're farming the top jungle. But that's not nearly going to be as worthwhile as a tower here. So Unknown going to be very happy. 16 to 25, a 10k lead out for Unknown. If you look at the Dota Plus probability as well, not too bad. I mean, 71% for Unknown. So there's still like a 29-30% chance for Infinity. But they need to find these key items. The Heaven's Halberd coming out for Arms is going to help them deal with Burna. I think you're going to want BKB right after. You just need to be able to stand in front, ignore the Ember's damage, ignore the Venomancer's damage, and the Cottle's damage as well. But farming that BKB takes a fair bit of time for the side of Infinity.
Yeah, I'm really not sure it's going to matter anymore unless they can control up Burna. Well, he's got his own BKB on the PA. I'm sure he'll be going for that Abyssal Blade next, as they found Sexy Yogi. Dust is going to connect as well. The Lion going to try and make a run for it. But he has been silenced up, and that means he is guaranteed to die here. Maybe not. He TPs, but Burna is going to be there with the damage. While Robo-Z was trying to find another, but the TP that time will be successful. Gonna go straight into the Radiant Triangle now. They're just not done. Burner. Gonna be recalled in.
I deserve this. Refuse gold given.
More wards coming out from our keeper to just keep eyes on what is happening across the map. There's just so much more farming to be done for Infinity, and even then, into a PA when you're a Wraith King, it just feels so darn tough. Especially once that PA has a basher, and he does. The Abyssal's going to make it that much harder for this Wraith King to get anything done.
Yeah, and you have to worry about the dagger stuns now as well, because obviously that's the thing with PA. So they've got to watch their spacing. If there is a lucky bash on the dagger, you know that Unknown's just going to jump in. Burna also has this fresh BKB at the 10-second charge. So there's a lot of pressure here from Little Boy to get the roar off on the PA mid BKB. Issue is they might not be able to find that follow-up kill. So Infinity needs to use these stuns in a smart way. And the BKB just complicates who you want to stun up with a roar here.
Burner just going to go for a tier 3 tower now. Does hit like a truck, and obviously with the Deso, he's helping out that siege creep. You even see Wish, he's going straight for an Aghanim Scepter on the Earth Spirit, so he's feeling that confident. Thinks I may as well just go for the Ags. Because the Ags can still be very, very useful, but it's not something you see so often. Not right after a Glimmercape pickup. But it's there.
No, I think it's going to be really good to save. Like, say you're stuck in the dicey spot, your PA gets roared, and BKB is down in that time. You can just stone them up, pull them towards you, kick them away, and you can have a good time. It's just so annoying to play against, and there's just nothing on Infinity to really punish a build-up like that.
Smart Hippie. Nice arena into a spear. Does catch out the Veno into a finger, and they take it down. They might lose Pamplona for this. Sacred will buy back immediately on the Veno, and they want to go for more. Wish just straight forward onto arms. Dust apparently didn't really connect.
Oh, Force Staff.
Uh-oh. Sexy Yogi. Gonna go down. I believe that was SHSCCD that got that 4-staff down. Into the tier 3 tower they go. There's just nothing to stop them.
Yeah, and these objectives just melt. You've got Veno still just casting those wards away. The Desolator melts in. Ooh, look at Arms. He just melts from a dagger.
Yeah, he's gone. That'll be 1 life. They're not going to dive in past those tier 4 towers for a second. Especially because you just need a Ring of Health now and Burner to have the full Abyssal Blade up. But I think he's just more than happy to go farm that and finish that off. As well as that, Aghanim Scepter now up on Robo Z. A lot more remnants, a lot more damage, a lot more mobility. Things are going to be very tough. I mean, Infinity, yeah, they've got some farm, but they're 12k behind. Again, Wraith King into PA is not fun. I think they've just completely missed their timing now. Not really too much they can do.
They needed to play around more with a roar and finger combo, just as much as Unknown needed to play with those early spikes on the Ember, Earthspirit, and Veno, and they just haven't been able to do that. So the Abyssal's now up for Burna, as you mentioned, so instant stun in play. It's going to be scary now to fight into the PA. He might find one, Little Boy. Not in the vision.
He might be in a second, John. Burner. Blur wears off. Didn't actually see him.
Oh. No.
Okay. Burner. Now back out. And the recall is there. Perfect timing. Because the smoke was out from Infinity. They were running their way towards the PA. But instead, Burner gets recalled back into the Roshan pit. It's going to be the second Roshan of the game. And Moonlight Shadow is going to be popped. They seem to know what's happening. Can they make it in time? They're trying to get there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be quite in time, as the arrow is going to come in, but the Aegis is picked up. Cheese on the deck, but of course Unknown do not want to dive in just for the cheese. That'll be enough. They'll have to accept the fact that the Roshan is gone.
Man, this is a huge boost for Unknown. It's going to allow them to take the high ground now once more. Infinity, they they need to find these angles. The blink has been up in Little Boy for a while, but they haven't been really able to isolate any hero, get that burst damage off. Yogi just needs to hold on to the finger to try to burst, maybe to squish your supports, but the discipline from Unknown to stay declumped, to stay all the way back, to prevent that from happening, it makes it really hard to approach that. And the towers just melt. Like, the damage is too much here from this PA.
Way too high. That top racks is definitely gone. They might just be able to go straight into the bottom racks if they want. With the Aegis up, I just don't think they're afraid of anything right now. If anything, Infinity are the ones that are afraid, and they're still down to that bot tower, trying to push that out. They're going to TP now, but this could be the last-ditch team fight. Luckily, Unknown do not have a creep wave with them, apart from the other lanes. Burner, gonna rush in, Lotus Orb there.
Of double damage.
Being very cautious, just waiting for the right time to make the jump. Now forced up again from the Coddle. Arms in danger. Gonna turn right back around and try to fight this one out. He does have 2 lives. They'll get one. The Aegis is down. Onto the Mars goes Robo Z, trying to just take him out. Arms still dealing with the rest. We'll take down Wish. Sexy Yogi also going down, and now Burner will get 1 life with the Wraith King as Pippi also goes down on the Mars, and now, well, Arms is just a sitting duck. He's going to try and do something, but he's being kited around. He'll buy back. How do you actually kill anyone? Oh, not going to feel nice for Little Boy. I believe the BKB will save his life. That's it, GG War plays called. They know they can't defend any longer. And Unknown will be able to take game 1 rather convincingly.
Yeah, it's a strong performance start to finish. Those first 3 kills going their way as well was a pretty fantastic start. And Infinity, they just caught out. I thought they'd have the timings. I thought they could play around, say, Roar and early Finger, but Unknown was just on the aggressive. And that was down to the really good lane we were seeing coming out on our Ember. Just a fantastic time coming out there for RoboZ. He just had so much to play with. He had a great lane, his rotation up top paid off, and then he had this natural combination with the Keeper of the Light. The spam was too much, and the Maelstrom came out way too fast, so there was so much damage early on.
There certainly was, John, and with that, of course, that was game number 1. We are going to be able to go into game number 2 and see how that's going to pan out. But for now, it's MLP, Dota, and JohnXFire. We'll see you all again in 10 minutes for our second draft.